Hi, this is Inspiration Daily for October 27th, 2021. This is Gina Greenlee of GinaGreenlee.com. So today's inspiration, there seems to be a theme. People who live through adversity, and they keep going, they keep climbing, and that was the theme for yesterday. It was very specific to physical challenges, given what I'm going through, but and how I'm inspired by people who have far more physical issues than I do, because what's happening with me is temporary, and I'm grateful for that. Excuse me, and I'm really inspired by people who live with chronic pain, for whom pain is not a temporary thing. It's a way of life, and that inspires me to change my shirt for a new video and show up and not whine. So, but again, I'm not being a martyr either, because on October 25th, I was out of it. I was in so much pain. I was waiting to be seen, to be fit in for an emergency root canal. And I was out of it, and I couldn't even drive myself to the doctor. So and I didn't think, ooh, I got to do the video. So I don't want to go to that place either. All right, it's not either or, it's both and everything in between. And that should be the name of the book, but so I'll take it. It's mine. So anywho, so I'm inspired by people who go through situations, through adversity, who weather adversity that I could not imagine. And so there's two that come to mind. There's so many, but the two that come to mind, and I've actually blogged about both of them. One group, and they're each actually happens to be a group of people. Did you know that there were 18 African Americans who participated as Olympians, who were Olympians in the 1936 Olympics in Berlin, Hitler's Berlin? Yeah, some of you might think, I thought that was just Jesse Owens. No, it wasn't just Jesse Owens. That was the American, or shall I say the United States narrative. Jesse versus Hitler. Oh no, there was 18. And they won. There was 8 gold medals in total, silver medals, bronze medals. Okay. Most importantly, the reason why I'm mentioning them here, I mean, they literally just killed it over in Berlin. They represented the United States like the bosses that they were. But just the fact that they showed up, yeah, in Hitler's Germany, where he set out to prove Aryan supremacy, white supremacy. And this is, remember, 1936, this is almost 30 years before, 30 years before the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, when black Americans were, to say that black Americans were second-class citizens is really an insult to what this group of individuals went through, including Jesse Owens, and how he was treated when he came back to the United States. And my ancestors, my parents, who grew up in the Jim Crow South, and they were part of the Great Migration of blacks, of African Americans, 6 million, who migrated to the north and the west, above the Mason-Dixon line, to have a chance to just have a life, So, but the 18 African Americans, you need to know about them. They inspire me just to show up there, and then to show up for the United States, and then be erased from the history books because it didn't fit the narrative of Jesse versus Hitler that made the United States look like that it was better than Germany when it came to racist practices, when in fact Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who was running for re-election that for the second time, depended on the white Southern vote to get him into office. There was no way in hell he was going to invite Jesse Owens to the White House to be shaking his hand. So everybody like, oh, Hitler didn't shake Jesse's hand. Hell, Franklin Delano Roosevelt didn't shake Jesse's hand. Okay? These 18 Americans, these 18 patriots, everybody want to throw that term around. Okay? That's what patriotism is all about. You go over, you represent your country, then they come back and they treat you like dogs, and they write you out of the history books. But guess what? I wrote about them. And so did Deborah Draper, who wrote the book. She did the documentary, and it is off the chain. So hats off to you, to the 18 African Americans, not one, 18, who went over to Hitler's Germany, and they kicked ass in the Olympics for the United States, and then they came back to their country and they were treated like dogs. You need to know who they are. Peace out.